Hello everyone. Here we are presenting on another session on sustainability dialogues with sustainable warriors. So this time we are with Ekam Eco team. We are with Mr. Sachin Joshi, who is a co-founder of Ekam Eco Solutions, who is also a partner of Econos since a long time, but they are working in sustainability and the innovator of a very good line of waterless urinals and the organic cleaners. So we will discuss with Mr. Joshi and discuss his journey, what he has attained so far, and what are the challenges they have overpassed during their journey, and what are the plans for the upcoming time. And their contribution to the sustainability is tremendous. So we will ask some questions today with Mr. Joshi, and we will understand and see their journey, what they have
Yeah.
took the path.
Good
Right.
afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Joshi. So I will start with the first question. That can you tell us about your sustainable journey when you started your venture along with your other co-founders and what was about that?
Right, right. So, Ekam Eco Solution is actually a spin-off of a research project which we were conducting at IIT Delhi. Uttam is a IIT alumni. I am from Bombay. So, both of us came together in our journey, career journey at Compton Reeves. And Uttam then took off to this research journey with IIT Delhi. So we started incubation somewhere around 2007 to 2008, and the entire focus was to understand sustainable sanitation, or rather just sanitation. That point of time, sustainable was a very bleak word, not very known word. So
Right.
we started understanding about sanitation. The main reason was we were searching for a new product to bring in a appliance business, right? So that was our first focus. I mean, it was kind of an accident happening through the entire requirement. So then we realized that there is nothing called as home composting available that point of time. So we
Right.
started researching on what are the waste, what are the types of waste, and what happens with our waste. That gave us a huge amount of shock of life, saying there is so much of waste and there is so much of less understanding about it in India. So when we used to search that point of time, there were multiple search engines, right? Alta
Right.
Vista, Yahoo, and stuff like that. So we used to Google, not just Google, but do all these searches as
Right.
sanitation. We used to get only results in names of Hindware, Pariware, Sera, and all those facilities which are
Right.
kind of
Very limited
receptacles,
options.
right? So they were just receptacles. They used to receive your waste and
Right.
then it goes down the drain. So we never thought of what happens to that drain going down our pipelines from our societies, offices, or schools.
Right.
Uh, when we tried to do some, because this was completely a product design research, right? So we were also taking a couple of interviews with different stakeholders, and each stakeholder talked about waste as waste. I mean, they never thought of that waste is a resource. They
Right.
always says, they
Yes.
always used to say, yeah, वो ड्रेन के नीचे चला जाता है और फिर वो म्युनिसिपालिटी का काम है उसको मैनेज करना.
Right. Right.
It is government's job to treat, handle, and ultimately dispose of the waste in a right manner. We don't know what to do with it, because if you see in major metropolitan cities like Bombay, Delhi, and stuff like that, most of the time we used to get it. We used to get a sewer line directly connected to our buildings,
Right.
right? So that is how people have a perception about this entire journey.
Right.
And then we further researched about the technicalities of it, and we found out that the entire technicality for a urination cycle of per person, we generally urinate about 250 300 milliliters, right? I will be talking some numbers. uh, Kapil, I'm just pausing it just a minute. Can you pause for a second? Can you pause for a second? resuming. Yeah. So when we used to find out the technicalities of these discharges, the first
Right.
thing we realized that when a person urinates, the urination cycle goes with 250 ml of urine per person, and we are flushing about 1.5 liter of water per urination. And this was especially in the office scenario, because in India, when you see, most of the time it is about the uh, urinals which are only available in the corporate world. We don't have urinals mostly at our homes.
Right.
Then we realized also that for a defecation cycle of per person of 250, 300 grams, 400 grams per person maximum, we are flushing 6 to 8 liters of water. So our sewer lines, STPs, septic tanks are filled with water, and
Right.
only 20, 30, 40% is the waste. 60%, 70% is only water. And that gave us an uh, inclination that can we recover this water? Can we reduce this water?
Right.
So we left our journey to find out the composting machine. We started doing all these things.
Right.
By 2010, 11, we started understanding more about being engineer. We were very less knowledgeable about biology, part of the entire human waste, may it be food waste or fecal waste. So we tried to read about it. And one thing we realized, urine is basically a mixture of 95% water and 5% urea. So there is a urea available, and we are importing urea for our fertilizers. So that again gave us an
Right.
idea that can we recover this urea as a fertilizer? So we did again some experiments, tried taking help from many chemical engineers and biochemical engineers, try to understand what way we can recover this urea from human urine, and found out that it is very easy. I mean, steroid and magnesium salts and stuff like that can actually extract a lot of urea from urine directly. If I do that, so 5% urea extracted from urine, we will only remain with the water, which is salty water. And that water will not have any smell because urea is not getting converted to ammonia.
Right.
Urine smells because urea becomes ammonia. It's a nitrogen gas. And that is how we started doing the experiments. We converted the urine into urea and water kind of format. Urea was extracted as salt, and that
Right.
was readily available to prepare our fertilizers. Then
Right.
I mean, this was one eureka moment for us. We said, yeah, I mean, we can do this. So we approached those people who used to find out, I mean, manufacture the fertilizers. So RCF and many agencies, many companies who manufacture fertilizers, we tried to approach them and got second shock of the life, saying they accepted this technology. They said, yes, this is possible. Thank you for inventing this principle.
Okay.
But please tell us, how are you giving me pure urine? Right? Because everywhere, every building, the urine gets mixed up with water and fecal sludge and other waste and comes down the drain. How am I going to get the separated, special, purified urine?
Right.
So we went back to the building industry, civil industry. Am I extending too much, or is it okay? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can tell when you started with your original idea. Then, what in which year you started that?
Yeah. So this entire journey, as I said, started in 2007, 2010, 12. We reached a stage where we were stopped by the system saying this is not feasible commercially, because
Right.
you're not going to get urine first. If you get urine separated at the source, you have to transport it to the processing unit. That transport of cost is going to be much beyond the basic cost of urea manufacturing. So this is not feasible. And that's where it actually stopped. So we again went back to drawing board saying how we can then save water. And the lowest hanging fruit was to create a urinal
Right.
which will not flush water every second, urination cycle.
Okay.
And that's where we actually started this as a system, because that point of time there were multiple European and American companies who were talking about waterless urinals. but all the designs at that point of time were completely consumable basis. And in our Indian scenario, even a leaking tap, no one changes the washer. Who's going to change anything in the urinal? So that's gave us another differentiation deviation, saying we should make something which will have less maintenance and maximum performance, and that's how zero door waterless urinals were designed.
Okay.
Right. So this
Right.
was somewhere around 2012 end, and then we commercialized it because no one was ready to take it up. No one was ready to accept it as a market product. So we
Right.
started selling ourselves.
So that was great to hear about your story that you had a lot of juggle since there was no options available and the resources available. And yes, there were some companies uh, in the foreign and they charge a very huge price for their solutions and the innovation which they are promoting in India. And so I think there was the requirement of an Indian product that accomplished and as per the requirement of Indian people and their usage, right? So you have designed them. So can you tell us what is the specialty
Yeah.
and highlight of your product?
Yeah, so zero door, when we devised, the first and foremost thing we wanted to make it possible to fit it to the existing urinal pan. Because in India, again, for making your urinal as a waterless urinal, no one was ready to change the pan. The pan that point of time costed anywhere between 800 rupees to 8,000 rupees.
Yeah.
So any commercial building, any commercial office who wants to go for waterless urinal, we devise something. We have to devise something which will be retrofittable. Second,
Right.
obviously, it will be maintained by housekeeping staff, which is less learned. Right? Has to be very simple to easy to maintain, easy to operate, and easy having no replacement, especially where there is dearth of management or maintenance in our day-to-day equipments. This was
Right.
very less maintained facility. So that is how zero door is designed. So if I talk about again features of zero door, it is retrofittable to 80-90% of Indian designed pan, IS standard pans. It has no replacement part unless until, yeah, obviously if you physically damage it, then only it will get damaged. Otherwise it is non-replaceable parts, no change of parts required in 8 to 10 years of its lifespan.
Right.
And obviously then it is very easy to maintain. A simple housekeeping guy who's less learned can also maintain it. It is just cleaning of the zero door from inside out that is required, nothing else, and no special chemicals required.
Right. 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 So you have your range of organic cleaners for usage in zero dot, right?
Yeah, so due course of time, we then also worked out with the bacterial solutions, which are kind of supportive, right? What happens is when you urinate in a dry urinal, waterless urinal, there is a scaling happening inside the drain line, and this scaling is basically because of the body fat and body salt.
Right.
That you cannot clean every time by using caustic or Drainix kind of products because it also damages your system.
Hmm.
So that's where the bacteria, the good bacteria, come handy. They become solvent of these solid or mushy kind of a scaling inside and make it flowing. So your drain line keeps flowing. It doesn't get choked up.
Okay. So that's great to know about the highlights. So any challenges you want to discuss here you faced during in your journey? Yes, because innovating a product, starting a startup, you face a lot of challenges while initial years of business, right? So any
Yeah.
challenges you have overcome or you want to highlight anything?
Yeah. So if I very specifically tell you, 2013, when we actually commercially started as Ekam Eco Solution,
Right,
uh, the entire journey of sustainability was very slow in India.
right,
So SDG goals actually happened in 2020 or 19, right? And that it got imposed because of multinational sanctions over different countries in somewhere around 2020. By the time also there was an effect of COVID. So blessing in disguise because COVID made you wash your hands again and again,
Right.
and you used a lot of water. So there was a lot of waste of water happening there. People wanted to save water by 2020. But as you asked me, what was the difficulty in the initial days? Water as a resource was the cheapest resource in India. From 2013 till 2019 and we were struggling to encourage people saving water by applying waterless urinals and zero dose.
Right.
Because I mean, simple question used to come if you come to me as I mean, Kapil comes to me selling waterless urinal, zero dose waterless urinal, and I'm an infrastructure head, and I'm saying you, I don't. I mean, the water is not charged for me. I'm using a groundwater,
Right.
so there is no cost for of water for me. You don't have an answer to this, right? Obviously, the water is free. So why should I think of saving it?
Right.
But when we realize this, that you have to pump it out from the groundwater, from the bore well. You have to purify it, you have to soften it and stuff like that. So there is a life cycle cost of water to make it usable, which is getting saved. On top of it, the water which is flushed in your urinals is going to STP. So the load on STP is increasing. Can you
Right.
save that load? So there is a life cycle cost system
Right.
analysis which has to get imbibed in the people's mind. Then only they will accept this. And that took us almost 6 years to actually convince people. So that was the biggest difficulty, I'll say, because these were very tough questions to answer. I mean, people were adamant accepting, no, I don't get any money to be charged for water,
Right.
right?
So people are not much convinced in the initial time that why the
Yeah,
product I will
yeah,
take, why I give money for a new innovation for saving a water, for saving a
true.
product, or for saving water which I am just expending penny. Right. For
Yeah,
them, they are saying that I'm just getting a water bill in a penny, 100 rupees, 200 rupees, or 500 rupees, but why to use it? So, yeah, the awareness is required, and for the long term benefits, everyone needs to understand about it. That's why uh, the goal and objective will be satisfied and we will achieve it. So another thing, want to understand any accomplishment you want to share regarding your product and solutions where we have implemented at a very big facility or any uh, changes has been occurred after that. So you want to share anything related to the same?
Uh, yeah, I mean, the biggest accomplishments, I mean, I'll say, there is some pun intended. We are ROI people. That is not, that does not mean Republic of India. It is return on investment people. So,
Right, 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 right,
so we generally speak of every time ROI
right.
and bringing out ROI from each and every intervention is very difficult when it comes to water saving, right? It is very easy when you talk about electricity saving because that's very costly thing. But when it comes to water, so yeah, public toilets, public urinals, public health or hygiene sectors are the most affected sectors which use the water maximum. So if you see public urinals across India, the water will be perennially flowing out of the drain points because the smell is an issue. No one wants to maintain it. So we did a couple of experiments in Indore. Because Indore is one place. I mean, Madhya Pradesh, Indore is one place which took up the Swachh Bharat mission very, very seriously. And Indore became the most successful city in terms of what that
Okay.
Swachh Sarvekshan
Right,
numbers and other things.
right,
So there we did a couple of experiments by dripping these bacterial solutions in public toilets. Instead of flushing water, we were dripping water by drip irrigation methods, which are basically agricultural methods. And that dripping with bacterial solution gave us a huge success, though it never got commercially successful, obviously, because that needed the government inclination, the public sector bodies to take it up, and other things. But as technology, we could save a lot of water by doing that experiment. Second experiment which we did was that point of time again we did this in Indore because Indore was the first city which implemented a citywide composting process.
Right.
So these bacterial solutions also were sprayed on the trucks coming inside the garbage dump area. And the major complaints about the smell went off from the public staying around that dumping ground. So if I tell you the success stories, there are so many. I mean, waterless urinal, obviously. Now today we are somewhere around more than 25,000, 30,000 urinals fitted with zero door in India itself. Right.
That's true.
And each urinal saves about 75 liters of water per day. Just calculate it as a number.
The impact,
So
yeah, crazy.
that is obviously, but that I'll give the entire credit to these corporate world people because they accepted that and they
Yeah.
are maintaining. But from the perspective of STP recycling of water, one most successful experiment what we did was also at one of the seashore, which is also a temple town called as Rameshwaram. Now this is a CRZ zone, and they wanted a coffee shack to be established on the seashore. But the coffee shop was mainly with a philosophy that people will come for using toilets there,
Right.
and then they can also buy coffee.
Right.
But they didn't wanted this water to go directly to sea without treatment.
Hmm.
So we established biodigester system with bacterial cultures and filtration process. And this entire water is now being dosed to a close by large section of public garden. So no water from the toilet goes to the sea, right?
That's true.
So these kind of experiments can actually help to bring in cleanliness in the and effective to the larger section of the society.
So that's wonderful to know about it. Yes, definitely people will go to the toilets in the cafeterias to yes, there were no resources were available. But now the mentality is also changing up. Yes, we are contributing in a change as well. Right. So this, I think these cafes and these restaurants need to publicize and advertise. Yes, you can contribute with us in other ways also related to
Right,
sustainability. Right.
right.
So that's great to know about it. So just want your opinion now on uh, related to the green building industry in India that is growing up. Yes, we have seen a lot of people are talking about green buildings and sustainability that is the requirement. So what's your point as you have already been the part in the last 10 or 15 years and seeing a new innovative product. So what's your take in the upcoming 5 years and 10 years the green building industry will take up.
Uh, I'll take that question a little bit differently because many partners like Econor, I mean, Kapil, you and Econor also helped the entire journey of these green buildings in India to come to a level, right? Because CII, IGBC, USGBC, and stuff like that were there, but uh, but bringing that as a network together is the most important thing required to be done in the entire journey of green buildings in India. And for that matter, I would be very glad to be associated with multiple of you, like I mean, Econor kind of associations, where we come together, share our experiences, because difficulties in sanitation are multiple in India.
Right.
Everywhere the demography is different, everywhere the atmosphere is different.
Hmm.
Uh, we are also working now with Shabrimala. We are also working for Amarnath Yatra. Both the places are completely different in terms of atmosphere. Amarnath is sometimes goes sub-zero and still they want biodigester
Right.
because there is no sewer line there. Same time, Shabrimala has a is a location which is so different in terrain, such a hilly area. You can't lay any drain line. Both the
Right.
places need sustainable products, green products, as well as the. I mean, it should not contaminate the water bodies because everywhere there is a river, there is a rivulet which is coming on the way. So if it gets messed up with these wastes which are being
Right.
done by the in these places. I'm not very worried about bringing sustainability to the corporate world. There are so many people who are bringing it to them. But these locations which are remote, tough to tackle, are the major ones now to be looked at.
Right, right. So, in that, the last question which I want to understand is what is your perspective? Sachinji, is you are connected with us? Sachinji, I think we have lost the connection. Sachinji, is I audible to you? Sachinji, is we are connected with you? Hello, Sachin sir, is we are connected with you?
You're muted. I'm not able to hear you.
Is we are connected?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry for the glitches. So we move to the last question now, and we will adjust that in that, right? So the last question we will discuss is your opinion on the upcoming infrastructure developments in the country in the 5 to 10 years. So, what's your take? How it will shape up now? As the people are now more understood, aware about the sustainable solutions, yes, but a lot of hard work is yet to be done. But yes, the initial processes I think has been started now. So, what's your opinion in the upcoming 5 to 10 years in the sustainability sector in India?
Yeah, I'll answer this question again with a bit of roundabout approach because sustainability in India, yeah, awareness has increased as you rightly said. A large section of people now understand water saving, VOC, I mean volatile organic content, air pollution, and stuff like that. And people at least started talking these terms in their day-to-day life. But there are so many myths built upon by different bombardments of information from different countries, different locations, different geographies, that it is creating a bit of confusion in people. So, for example, I'm just taking one example that in remote areas, hilly areas, and areas where there is very less infrastructure possible because of money and because of the manpower requirement, that we resort to easily leach pit. or the soak pits for our toilet discharges. But people do not have any idea about the geological information of that area. So if I use a soak pit for toilet discharge, obviously it is going to contaminate my groundwater. It is going to contaminate my lakes again. Though it is better preposition than outdoor defecation, but it is only partially, very partially better than that. The best option is to create septic tanks, to create, so infrastructure wise, the acceptance of technologies as per geography has to be understood by the government bodies first, and then only they should approve, because suddenly the Swachh Bharat mission got very big gaga. I'm very
Right.
sorry, I'm not against any political party or I'm not against any political person,
Right.
but creating just the advertisement of Swachh Bharat mission, creating toilets inside the homes, and then realizing that toilets are made, but the dish is not managed, and it is again flowing on the roads. So it is same like ODF, not ODF. So it is again open defecation. So then start creating soak pits and stuff like that, and then the soak pits overflow and go into the rivers and canals and stuff like that, contaminating our entire water, freshwater network. So that approach at government level needs to be corrected largely. As I recently, immediately told you about Amarnath Yatra. Amarnath Yatra, the path is so hilly, you can't do anything. I mean, you can't carry any tank there. But obviously, you can construct. If I can construct a temple at that level, I can construct a. So that approach has to be taken at that right
Right.
moment, right? We should not miss out on. Sanitation is science. Again, it is not easy to manage at every juncture the same application. I mean, it's not cut paste. It's not Microsoft Word. So that's my take on. So next 5 to 10 years, this correction has to happen. Then only we will go real way of sanitation or sustainable sanitation.
Right, right, right. So that's very wonderful to hear about the stories from you and your sustainable journey so far. And it is going to be continued so far with us also. Together, we will also going to achieve a lot in the future time. So definitely, we will also learn for the same. So during the Greenathon, that is going on. The month of Greenathon we have dedicated to the innovations, to highlight the innovations, the journeys related to sustainability for a month long drive. So people are participating with their solutions, with their innovations, with their projects they have contributed. So at the end of this month, on 30th of June, we are coming up with highlighting all the solutions so far, and the objective of this dialogue was the same, to hear your sustainable journey, to motivate the people to enter into the sustainable space and contribute towards the sustainability. So, thank you, Sachin ji, for coming
Thank
up
you.
and sharing your journey for the same. And any at the end, you want to highlight any point any, from your side?
Sure.
I'm not asking any question now. It's
Okay.
you.
Thanks, Kapil. No, I appreciate Equinor's approach towards bringing people together. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for all the supports and for the connections so far and coming up on a short span for this interview. Yeah.
Sure.
So
Thanks.